Hi everyone, Ian Bremmer here with a special edition of In 60 Seconds. It's a part of a limited series we're producing on Japan's overall pandemic response in partnership with the Consulate General of Japan. Some nations have clearly performed better than others in the face of this global crisis, and Japan is one of them. Despite having some obvious economic challenges and the oldest population on the planet, mortality rates and GDP decline in Japan have been among the very lowest in the G7. Yasutoshi Nishimura is a cabinet minister serving in Prime Minister Suga's government. He's in charge of economic revitalization and the overall national response to coronavirus. Minister Nishimura, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here and to have a chance to talk about the Japanese strategy.
Well, let's kick it right off. And if you could explain to viewers what the initial coronavirus response was in Japan, the lessons learned, and the things that worked for your nation, both in terms of public health and also in protecting the economy.
Japan's basic strategy is to avoid pandemics without forced lockdown. The Japanese government is requesting voluntary closure of businesses, asking citizens to refrain from going out and to wear all masks while maintaining social distance in order to contain the spread of infection. As an initial response, we implemented retrospective cluster measures and called for avoidance of 3 C's during the infection spread period from April to May. Avoidance of the 3 C's, which means closed spaces, crowded places, and close contact settings, has been a cornerstone of our coronavirus countermeasure strategy. During the next spread period from July to August, we expanded the number of tests and conducted focused testing, centering on regions and industries like Tokyo Kabukicho area, which is the most popular entertainment area in Tokyo and is almost half size of Soho area of Manhattan. We also requested the restaurant closure and shortening of business hours in these areas. Finally, I think that there are 3 things worked for the low number of infected people and deaths. First, we have developed measures based on data analysis and scientific knowledge. Secondly, Japan has a high quality healthcare system. Medical access is secured by the universal health insurance system, and examination and treatment facilities are well equipped. For example, the number of CT examinations per population is also high. Furthermore, public health centers, which are located throughout Japan, are high standard for resident health. And the third is the public awareness of health and sanitation is high in Japan. And even elementary school students know the necessity of avoiding the 3 C's. The wearing of mask is also a daily custom, and the wearing rate exceeded 80% even in March.
You know, the spread that we're seeing in Japan right now is nothing like the United States or Europe, but we are seeing significant additional coronavirus spread in Japan once again. And the vaccine is, of course, not yet widely available. So how is Japan dealing with this challenge right now?
As the daily number of confirmed cases has been at record high, we are once again taking steps, including requesting restaurants to shorten their business hours in close coordination with the local governments. We have prevented overshooting. We have beefed up our countermeasures this week to curb the number of cases as swiftly as possible. For example, Tokyo Metropolitan Government has extended requests of shortening business hours until 11th January next year. Other prefectures have made similar requests. The government of Japan will help business comply voluntarily through employment adjustment subsidies, grant for rent payment, regional revitalization grant to financially support local governments extending subsidies to restaurants shortening business hours. We shall overcome this crisis by putting together all our power with the cooperation of the people, of medical institutions, experts, local governments, and the communities.
So given the vaccines that we have and are rolling out, we can finally look forward to an end to coronavirus in Japan, perhaps towards the end of 2021. And Japan, your government is undertaking some key economic initiatives to prepare for the post-coronavirus reality. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
On 8th December, we decided the new economic stimulus package, which amounts to approximately $700 billion in project scale. To transform our society and economy into new structures, this package includes policy to strengthen economic growth, such as funding subsidy up to approximately $95 and $2,000 per SME for those entering new business fields or rebuilding current businesses. We will firmly stimulate private demand, including investment, in order to create virtuous economic cycles. By implementing these measures, we are determined to bring the Japanese economy back to the pre-pandemic level within the next fiscal year.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's not a question of extraordinary growth, but the resilience that the Japanese economy is showing and that the government is strengthening is pretty extraordinary in the context of the global environment today. So a final question to you, Minister Nishimura, which is, as the world recovers and rebuilds, and we know it will, what would you like Japan's role to look like globally?
As a contribution to measures against the pandemic, Japan has contributed to the COVAX facility to support vaccine development and the vaccine process first. Japan was the first developed country agreeing to participate in the initiative. In addition, Japan wants to contribute to the world by evaluating countermeasures based on advanced technology and scientific analysis and sharing them. The first is implementation of effective measures based on data analysis, which has been focused on PCR tests, focusing on areas and industries, and requests for shortening business hours. Next, the restriction on the number of customers at events, baseball stadiums, movie theaters, etc., have been eased based on demonstration experiments using splash simulations by the world's fastest supercomputer, Fugaku. Based on the demonstration experiments, for example, at a movie theater, restrictions were gradually eased until the theater can accommodate 100% capacity, provided everyone is wearing masks. Furthermore, the government has invested approximately $1 billion in research and development expenses for the new coronavirus countermeasures for Japan Agency for Medical Research and Development, and is continuing to develop vaccines in Japan. Finally, I want to quickly establish a balance between infection prevention and economic activities. In order to do so, we'll promote to the policies which are included in pre-mentioned new economic stimulus package, such as establishing approximately $95 billion scale university fund, approximately $9.5 billion scale fund to promote digitalization, and approximately $19 billion scale fund to support green innovation to contribute to achieve 2050 carbon neutral target. As the minister in charge of TPP, I'd like to deepen discussions on TPP expansion, supply chain resilience, and the digital implementation, which Japan will chair next year and contribute to global growth through the promotion of free trade. Japan will hold the Tokyo Olympics and the Paralympics next summer as a proof that humankind has defeated coronavirus as a result of measures based on advanced technology and scientific analysis. We'd like to work together to prevent infection so that all countries and regions can overcome it and reach the opening of the games. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasutoshi Nishimura. You have the toughest job in Japan right now, and appreciate you doing it. And for those of you watching, you can see more of our In 60 Seconds series at GZEROmedia.com. Thanks so much for watching.